All right, we should be live. Hey guys. So I have a bit of a cool surprise for y'all and a bit of an update, especially for those that are also my Patreon. This will mostly apply to you guys. Doing a quick video audio check and then I'll move on to the surprise. There we go. It went through. Alright, that sounds good. Let me get my music going so I'm not just listening to fan noise. There we go. Alright. So if you have been following my Patreon for the past like 2 months or so, then you'll know that I'm working on like this life cycle mini. I was gonna do one every month, but the first one that was picked was a Tarask, which is really awesome. So I released the baby version in egg last month, but I still want to do the adult, ancient, and then undead, which we'll see. I might not do the adult at all, depending how I want to do this. Definitely ancient and undead. So the baby went great. It was pretty easy because it's very like simple shapes and very cute. And then I wanted to work on the adult, and like I think this looks okay. And then I just didn't open it for like a week and a half or so because I'm just really not happy with it. And I never release anything on Patreon unless I'm like absolutely proud of it. So I just haven't been releasing it, which is really weird because usually I'm super good with my release schedule. I've still been releasing stuff, but the life cycle mini has been very like on the DL. So essentially I haven't been releasing this because I wasn't good enough yet. So it's been a lot of studying to like improve as an artist and whatnot. But anyway, this is now looking like this. It's a huge improvement and it's going to be freaking awesome. It's just been a lot of iterations and reworking and starting from scratch. I'm really happy with it starting out now, but this model is harder than I expected because it's not just a dragon. You know what I mean? So this has been a lot of fun. I'm leaning a lot more into the rock textures, which then I had to figure out how to sculpt rock. I have some good brushes that are rock, but having a brush do the work for you, if you can't sculpt it at all, then you're really limited in how much you can incorporate it into the creature. So I need to learn how to do that too. And I have, so yeah, it's gonna be awesome. And this might come out this month, probably not, but I'm trying. Anyway, see, James is here, what up? And Sarah's here. How's the wrist? A lot better. I have this little like mini brace thing and it's been like amazing. It just, I don't really have pain anymore. Now it's just more like slight tightness, which is much better than it hurting all the time. So yeah. As far as my work on today, it is going to be monsters. I haven't decided 100% what I would work on today. I might pose the Nightwalker because that's been turning out really cool. But yeah, I'll probably do a post on Patreon too, talking about what I talked about here and showing the comparison because this is a huge improvement. James says, so you're not starting from scratch tonight? I don't plan on it. I might, but just working on monsters. Let's see. What else do I have left? You know what? I'm probably gonna work on the Star Spawn Screamer because that's what I have. Like, I need a lot more done on that one. So I'm going to get my reference going and going to pull that one up. I don't work from scratch super often. That phase goes by so fast. And I haven't decided, so right now I have the Nightwalker, the Hound Tindalos, and the Star Spawn Screamer. So that's only 3 models. I did want to add a 4th. According to the poll, it should be the Cthulhu old ones, but then a lot of people mention like there's a million Cthulhus, and I like, completely agree. I'm kind of sick of them too. So if I do that, I want to do it like half undead, like skull exposed. I thought that'd be kind of cool. But then I realized I don't know what the skull of a squid creature looks like. So we'll see. That might be a whole other thing. James says, hoping to get a brush lesson work tonight while watching. Yeah, that'd be awesome. If you have questions, feel free to ask as you go. Sean's here. Mahir is glad to hear my wrist is doing better. Yep, all good stuff. And yeah, to people that joined more recently, just a small mention. I've been working on this freaking thing forever, and it sucked. Well, it didn't suck. I just really wasn't happy with it. It's not what I saw. And then after a lot of studying and working and reworking, I now have this. So it's improving a lot. this will get released at some point. I'll be doing a update post on my first Patreon about the progress of this, and then the second one that's focused on 3D design, I will do kind of a walkthrough on how I improved it and how I knew what to improve. So yes. All right. Don't mind me, I am getting everything set up to work on the Screamer. Let's see, where do I have those? I think that's in just an August folder. Sure is. There we are. He's kind of funny looking right now. But he's really fun to work on the musculature and stuff because it's so weird. I also want some music going. I accidentally exited out of that. I think I'm actually listening to the same thing as you guys today. Just really nice mellow background music. There we go. All right, there we go. Get a sip of my coffee and we'll get rolling. So my main focus right now is I want to bulk up the arms and the legs. That way they don't look so like starkly different than the abdominals. Let's see, what brushes do I have loaded in right now? I have a nose brush loaded in right now. I don't know why that's there. I might actually look at that. Maybe I can do something fun with that. Because the bat nose is kind of interesting, so I can actually see using this to get some really interesting scale-like textures on this. Let's see. I also wanted to polygroup the arms before I get too far along. There we go, just a really quick one. Same with the legs. Might not need them, but sometimes it's easier to do it earlier on than later when it's all so detailed that it's really hard to work around. Yeah, I hope you guys have been doing well. I had a really fast week. Just all of August has been like uncomfortably fast. I'm looking forward to September and trying to like kind of slow down. That dragon noses. I'm now really interested in these noses. I feel like I could really make some interesting textures with these quickly. Don't worry about that right now though. Alright, so I was going to do a lot of work on the back muscles, but then I put all these like nudibranch like little appendages on there, so I probably won't end up doing that. But it still wouldn't hurt to put the scapulas in there anyway. Alright, so I'm going to go with my standard brush, and I think I have Lazy Mouse turned on. I do. I'm just going to add some texture on the back here. Ribbed textures like this paint really well, so I like to add them when I can, especially when it's in an area that's not necessarily a focal point, but I still want to make it somewhat fun to paint. I also go in with Move and Back Face Mask to just add some layering to it, I guess. I go back with my standard brush and then add some more musculature to the arms. I'm not sure how monstrous I'm going to make them. I kind of have these like crab claw like appendages right now. Also go with my clay buildup brush to add more muscle mass. It also adds like this slight texture to it, just makes it look more muscly. And then once I have that blocked out more, I'll go through and add the kind of texturing that I have up here. There we go. Arm's looking a bit better. I didn't know that you use ZBrush Mini on your iPad. That's really cool. Go with Damn Standard, just to define this little pocket a little bit better. I'm thinking about not having the arms be symmetrical at all, but we'll see how much extra time I have. So I saw an opportunity here to kind of make this muscle flow into one of these little spikes. We'll see if I like that or not. I definitely want to have the arms be asymmetrical. I'm just trying to think about what the other one will be. I'm thinking of having one have... That is not the right brush. There we go. Like a stereotypically large claw. That's a better proportion for this too. But then I don't know what I'm going to do on the other side. On the other hand, I might make just more humanoid maybe. We'll see. Oh, I have not read the chat. Just a second. And then Sean says, why isn't backface masking always enabled for every brush? It makes some brushes behave really weirdly, like Smooth, for example. I just don't like the way that it interacts. It also makes some brushes more difficult to build up on, like backface mask with a clay buildup on an area that doesn't need it can just make it a lot weaker than it should be otherwise. And then JJ Arts Lab, hello. I finally purchased the full version ZBrush, cool, and attempted to make my first sculpt several times, but it kept crashing. I didn't learn my lesson. Oh no, I'm sorry. Maybe it's an issue with your computer specs, maybe you need a fresh install? I'd contact Pixelogic. Mihir says, Core and Full are not the same software, and you could have tried the Full for 30 days every year. It's true. Yeah, I don't know. Your wording is almost like that the full version isn't as good or isn't as stable. It's definitely a fluke. I promise the full version's awesome. Since I'm not really sure what I want to do with the arms at this point, I'm just going to work on the legs and then I'll go back to the arms. I don't really want to do like a hand. I'm just worried it's going to look too jarring compared to the rest of it, but the claws aren't really doing it for me either. So we'll see. This has been a really fun creature to work on. Just this whole month has actually been really fun to work on when I can, because my dumb wrist. I've always really enjoyed working on monsters. Yeah, this month I've mostly been working on monsters. I'm curious what you guys have been working on in your own free time too. It's starting to look better. That looks better. So right now I'm kind of just playing with the shapes with the other hand, seeing what I want to do with it. Because I kind of like this more tentacle-like look anyway. In this case, his feet are definitely too small. So go ahead and make those bigger. Oh, hey, I see that there was blue. I'll let you look at the chat in a second anyway. All right. Let's see. Let me skim through really quick. I see Ricky's here. Hello. Ricky just in the other room. If you guys don't know Ricky, he's the other part of M30M. James says I'm liking the snake tool. It's fun, isn't it? Did your arts ask do I use pen sensitivity? Yes. And then Gun is here. Hello, I think you're new. How am I? I'm doing well. Let's see. James says, I'm being told my mesh is too dense for the mini version. What are limitations of it versus core? Oh, I don't know. Google it, bro. Just Google ZBrush core mini versus ZBrush. Just because like I don't know like, exact poly count versus each other. And then the donation from Hephaestus. Thank you. I'll be doing that in just a second. Gun asks, ZBrush, do you pay it monthly or do you pay for it once? You can do either. Paying it once, I think, is like $8.50, and paying it monthly is $40. Uncle Sean new. Yeah, 20 million point limit. That is like super, super high. If you're exceeding that, you've gone way off into La La Land. Make sure you scale it back. And then Mahir also answered, thank you. James said I'm having issues moving my cursor around on my tablet. If it's a hardware issue, I have no idea. If you want to ask me about how you want to like the approach of making a creature, that I can help you with. Gun says, if you buy it permanently, you don't have the updates. You have the updates. They're all free. All right, let's get this rolling. And yeah, it might be because you're using, James mentioned using an iPad. I didn't know that could support ZBrush. That's really cool. All right, boop. Let's get this rolling. 4. Which means you get to change my headphone color. I think it's kind of blown out in here. Let's see. Oh no, you can see what color my headphones are. I was gonna say, I'm sorry if you can't really see it. Currently they are red, if you can't tell. And then James says, oh, I'm just used to a mouse, not a drawing pen. Oh yeah, that'll just take practice. Keep working with it, you'll get better with it. It's just like drawing with pencil and paper, you know what I mean? Just think of it in that terms as opposed to just using a computer screen with a mouse. Just think like art mode, you know? All right. Actually, James, I'm pretty certain, yeah, you're a student. If you're having issues, go back to the first assignment I gave you, navigation, which made sure when we covered how to rotate, pan, and zoom. If you can't do those 3 comfortably, I would recommend holding off on the brush assignment and focusing on the navigation assignment first. Just pro tip. Head faces. What's your least favorite color? Probably orange. Orange is probably my least favorite color. And yes, you can pick orange. I don't hate colors. Neon orange, please. Alright, let me get that going. I'll make it the orangeest orange I can. Plot twist, it's my favorite color. I just said that because I knew you'd pick it. It's not my favorite color. Alright, we should be orange now, unfortunately. I mean, you can barely even see it. Like, you can see it on this pretty good, but just know that I don't like it as much as red. Everyone else appreciates you, I guess. So the original reference I'm looking at actually has like eyes and stuff that are coming out of the back of the arms. I don't think I'm going to incorporate anything like that. I think it's just a little bit too all over the place in terms of design. I'm not really sure what I want to do next, so I'm just going to play with some color while I think about what I want to work on next. Because right now this is really just monochromatic. I got one color going on here. So let me think about what else I want to do. Ricky, you broke the system. Yeah. Yeah. He basically says jokes on you got to change color and learn a fun fact about you. Oh, I guess so. You really did. I see where he said had to rework the game. Oh, that's so like neutral troll, like chaotic good. All right, what color should I go with here? I am thinking I'm gonna start adding some more, like blue tones. I think that could be kind of interesting. Maybe in yellows. Or maybe orange. We just went over this. I think that'd be funny if we started incorporating that into the model. That is not orange. It's more orange. See, just a terrible color. I'm gonna do a quick repaint and see what I think of this. So I'm gonna do orange on the inside. And then try and do these darker reds that come around the edges. Let's see how this turns out. Just for fun. It'd be kind of cool if I had a bunch of orange highlights on it. I kind of like how the neck's looking. These colors are kind of more fun. Not too much different, but something. Such a weird character. My goodness. Ken says, what graphic tablet to use? Sorry, I'm asking a lot of questions. Recently I started with 3D design, and I want to learn as much as possible. Okay, no, ask away. I use a Cintiq. Specifically, I don't remember what it is. It's not the one with the touchscreen. It's a non-touch version. But it's really expensive, and you don't need it. It's awesome, but like, if you use it professionally, or every single day, I recommend it. But otherwise, you can get like a really cheap display tablet for like $250 from XP Pen. Or even there's some really good Hue ones too. And then Mahir says the Wacom Mafia managed to convince her to get a Cintiq Pro 24. That's what it is. Thank you for knowing what I use, Mahir. I can't believe it. I don't know. I'm like, it's a Cintiq and I love it. But yes, even though I love it, I wouldn't necessarily recommend. I definitely wouldn't recommend it for people that like hobbyists or like just getting into it. You don't need to spend a couple grand. I mean, what on something that if you're not going to use it professionally. This is pretty cool. It's so weird. I want to add, like, I thought about adding like an eye right here, but then again, it reminds me of those anchovies from SpongeBob. I was like, neat, yeah. Anyway, I'm not giving it eyes. I might, but they'd be more like slanty. I don't know. I kind of like that has no eyes. I really don't know what I'm going to do with its feet either. I mean, that's nothing new. I never know what I'm going to do with its feet. I want this to be more separated. I know that. Maybe not that much. Just love the Cintiq or the Wacom Mafia. That's great. It's true. Right now I'm not really sure what I want to do with its feet, so I'm just like moving it around, playing with it. This is like 90% of my design process. It's like, what does this look like? What does this look like? And just rinse and repeat. Alright, so these arm things need to be detailed to some extent. I also think the legs need to be a little bit longer, so I will do is I will isolate those, grab my mask lasso, and bam. Show everything again. Go ahead and mask everything. And just going to stretch these out. That's the before, that's the after. I think the extra height goes a long way. I mean, I guess quite literally. I also think color-wise, it needs like either to be even lighter or even darker in this certain spot. So I'm going to do both. I'm going to make this a little bit lighter And then go to the shoulders and the tips of his fingers and make them even darker, but not pitch black. There we go. It just needed some more contrast. Going for like that really two-toned look. Didn't do a great job blending it. But that's okay. I generally take screenshots from one angle, so. Alright, so at this point, now that I'm kind of solidifying the design, I'm going to try to detail the arms to be similar level as the abdominals. Not quite as much, just because I like that the abdominals are the focus here, and I think they look really weird, and I want to keep the attention on them. So for this kind of detail work, I kind of go between the standard brush and damp standard. I know which way the muscle fibers would go generally, and I don't complicate it too much more than that. If I really wanted to be good about this, I could pull up a reference of the muscle of the arm, but I'm not doing that. But I could. If I could, I mean should. But I would like to finish this, like, today, not a week from now. Just gonna add some texture on this really, really quick. There we go. Alright, that looks cool. I sometimes go back with move and backface mask and kind of pull the shapes around. I've been doing that a lot recently. It just adds some more bulk to the shapes I'm making, and I tend to like it. It's also pretty favorable for 3D printing because it's just exaggerating everything. I feel like I should have done something a little more intentional with these like center scale things. Alright. Been a moment. I will look back to the chat. Let's see what I missed. Gun says, tell the truth, at the moment I'm participating in a raffle for an XP Pen tablet because here in Argentina, one of them is very expensive. Gotcha. I hope you get it. Hephaestus says, if you wanted to print him in multiple pieces, how would you add the geometry to the pieces so they fit together perfectly? If that's too in-depth, don't worry about it. So I wouldn't do it in ZBrush. I usually do that in Mesh Mixer. And if I was going to print him in multiple pieces, I probably would like take his arms off or something. So I would do a cut somewhere around here. And then I have a test cube that Ricky did actually. This is like a project that he did where he just had a test cube and like a little peg and a hole and different tolerances. I think it was like 1 millimeter, half a millimeter, just to see what fits best. So we kind of have like almost like a preset peg and hole we know fits well together, and then you just kind of tack them on. But yeah, Mesh Mixer does a pretty good job of like generating really quick geometry across flat planes. Something to note though, like whenever you key models, you probably would notice if you already printed them before, is that there's always going to be like gaps and seams you have to fill. It's not going to be like a perfect flush fit. It can be pretty close, but yeah. Vincilio's here. Hello. Andrew says, so when you paint the models after you print them, do you usually use the same sort of color scheme? I know once I'm painting, I usually stray way off. Yeah, I get you. I don't paint them very often. I've painted like 4 or 5 of my models. I'm just so spoiled because I can paint something in ZBrush and make it look better than I could in real life. So yeah, but the few times that I have, yeah, I stray way off. If I was going to paint this in real life, I would probably paint it like a nudibranch that I really like. I don't know what it's called specifically. I just know it's blue. I think it's like Atlantis, sort of in the name. Yeah, Atlanteus, whatever. I'm going to pull up a picture of it. This guy. I'd probably paint it like this color scheme, which is totally different than what it looks like now. He looks like a lobster. What a nostalgic song. Yeah, I haven't used this in a while, so I got this one back. Alright, back to detail work. I need to be careful doing this just because these like muscle fibers, like the thickness here, like they're very, very similar, and if I do that all the way down the arms, it's going to look very bland. So at some point, I'm either going to really smooth it out and make it just not a focus, or I'm going to make them a lot tighter. One of the two. I'm just going to make sure it's different. And because it's transitioning into like this claw, I might add almost like a barnacle-like texture. That could be cool. Oops. Yeah, I knew I liked the texture of this. They labeled it as kneecap, but I think it looks cool for a lot of different things. So I'm going to use that to texture the claws. Okay, so I think it worked for the claw on the left, and then one on the right, it just made it look like disgusting, that's not what I meant. I didn't mean for it to look so gross. So I'm going to texture the one on the right a little different. Or depending, it might just keep it smooth. Now he is supposed to have teeth, I just haven't started adding any of that. Yeah, we'll see what I do with that. Oh, you've heard this from somewhere else? Very cool. Let's see, And then here says, any thoughts on the Anycubic Mono and the Lego Saturn? Not too much. I haven't been keeping up with it too much. I've heard a lot more about the Saturn than I have the Mono. That's about all I got to say about that. Oh, I didn't mute that. Whatever. I tried. All right. So I don't really plan for the teeth to be too noticeable. Just for them to be there. There we go. He now has some teeth. Making sure they all touch because this would not be fun to support. just going through and adding a bit more made up musculature for the back of his legs. Alright, this has come a long way since it being a live stream. Pretty cool. So right now I'm just playing with the shape of these like top tentacle things. Just kind of seeing what I can do with them. I think a big part of these is me affected by the pose, but I can pick something interesting in the meantime. I see Klutz here. Hello. See your left. And then James says, can you dig into a model in ZBrush Mini? Yes, using Alt. Oh cool, you had boxing. That's fun. And then Sean says, I'm excited about September sculpting prompt theme. Yeah, that'll be fun. So I had fun with little top tentacle things. I don't think they turned out super good. I think they look better the way they were before when they were straight. So I'm just gonna think about how I want to do those. Obviously I want to detail them more than just that. So we'll see. I'm betting I'm just gonna grab one of these and then duplicate it across. We'll see. think this is going in the direction I want it to. That looks so weird. The pose is definitely going to be interesting for this. I don't know what it is, but what it's going to be, but I know it's going to say a lot about the model. We'll see. Clute says, all the proportions of the monster me and lots of contrast throughout. Thank you. And then Sean says, the S shape throughout the overall shape is nice. Yeah, I really do have that. I'm a huge fan of that too. I feel like those like S shapes are like my favorite. That's what I end up putting in like in everything, but even unintentionally, I guess, in this case. If I hadn't lengthened the legs, that wouldn't have worked. Interesting. And then Clute says, size variations often ignored on minis and can really drive the viewer's focus throughout the model. Yeah, it's true. So let me put some more work into the legs. I think it's funny how much I strayed from the concept. Because someone mentioned a star spawn. I've never heard of that before. I don't think most people have. And the concept art was all over the place as well. There's not really an official anything for it. So mine's deviated to the point where I'm probably going to call it something else entirely. But I know patrons don't care as long as you make something cool. Oops. But yeah, in case you're curious, I'm talking about, this is what it's supposed to be based on, what it's supposed to look like. This is just such an impressive piece. Obviously, I've deviated quite a bit. This has mouths throughout the entire thing, hence Screamer. Mine does not. Mine has one mouth. I might incorporate more. We'll see. There's a lot of parts of this I think are really weird. Like, in a way, like, I'm not sure why they did that, but I think it's cool. Like, the eyes, I just think are distracting. But, oh gosh, these spikes in the back are super cool. I love those. Tentacle hair. Very, very, very cool. I've noticed if you just reference a really impressive piece of art, even if you only come like 40% as close, it's still pretty cool. That's kind of what happened here. I really don't know what I'm going to call this. We'll see. Because the mouth is just not the focus, so to call it a screamer seems kind of weird. It just looks, you know, like an ocean monstrosity of some sort. We'll see. I'll figure it out. Yeah, isn't that an awesome illustration? It's so freaking cool. Let's see. How long have I been working on this? About an hour. That makes sense. Usually after an hour I tend to know I'm like, it's been time. I give my wrist a break. Oops. There we go. Yeah, I think it looks better from this angle. Still not crazy about certain aspects, but overall it's a unique piece. I'm pretty happy with it. Yeah, it looks nice. Thank you guys for hanging out. This is always a lot of fun. I'm thinking about the pose. Thinking I'm gonna want it to be something really dramatic. Awesome, James. Thanks for hanging out. But yeah, so right now, obviously, he's so tall. It's a pivot point. His shoulders, just long. So I'm thinking a pose some sort that's like, just like a big S curve. So I have like shoulders here, his neck really craned, his hair stuff flying, and then like his big ol' arms like for balance. So he'll have to have one of these legs, which are I always have a hard time drawing from different angles, kind of giving him support, and then the other one can just be out. Not so stiff though. Focusing on the C curve of some sort. That's like a banana. Something jumping and like twisting. I think that'd be cool. Because really, it's like the focus of the model is his abdominals up. Pretty much everything but his legs. I'm really trying to keep his legs pretty low profile because, eh. Definitely happy the way this is coming out though. Again, don't know what I'm going to call it. Try and think of that too. Aquatic screamer. I can see that. It's definitely not star spawn. That does look alien though. Sean asks, is it possible to paint across multiple subtools using Subtool Master? Yes. Pretty sure. Alright, I'm going to keep working, but not on this. I'm tired of looking at this. It's all looking the same to me. I love this model. It's so weird. This is pretty much done. I just need some work on the face and then maybe going over it with a morph target to bulk up some of this detail. So right now I'm going through and just kind of like exaggerating shape. So making his shoulders slightly broader, his hip slightly wider. Just making everything like that. They're two parallel lines pretty much. It always looks boring, so I like to round those out too. His little feet actually came out really good. Yeah, stretched out muscle is a little weird, so I'm going to pull up so they're a little more even. There we go, it's better. And then yeah, let's work on the face a little bit. He looks kind of cool in this blue. I like the primary forms in this. It really just needs some more texture. How would I want to add? That's the... Right here is the remnant of the ear that I started with. I forgot to Johnny Mesh again. Whatever. It's pretty slight. I've always liked the kind of textures that this alpha brings if you move really slow. If you move quickly, it just draws a straight line, obviously, or it just turns into a mess. If you really go slow, I've noticed you have a lot more control over it. So now that the alpha is kind of giving me a shape to follow, I'll go over it with DM standard and standard and kind of build up the shapes that I like the most. Sometimes those alphas can add like a certain level of like randomness to the strokes that I have a hard time doing myself. So I'll have an alpha do it for me, and then I will build up the strokes I like the most. Something I also like doing is if I have two subtools that are interlaced like this, I'll use DM standard with that, I don't know, this alpha. In my case, it's numbered 60. Just depends how many alphas you have when it's numbered. And then I'll use just the regular alpha on the piece that's fitting, and then I'll use Alt plus that alpha or DM standard plus Alt, and it kind of like will puzzle piece them together like this. It's just kind of like a fun little technique, and it saves you a lot of time if you're really trying to get them to look like they fit together. For the most part, I just do it because it looks cool, but I imagine if I really went in with this with the intent of making them look like they fit together, it'd be nice too. There you go. His face looks a little more interesting. I really like this blue color on him, but he's supposed to be black. I might go with this blue though. It's quite nice. It's blue and pinkish. Yeah, I'm gonna do this instead and do a quick repaint, just because I really like this color right now. Someone suggested this last time. I think it was Clute. I can't remember. And I couldn't figure out how to get the right color that I wanted, and here it is. I'm glad I switched characters to work on it now. I was really getting tired of that screamer. How cool. Yeah, I like this a lot. And Clute said, yep, that navy dead creeper blue. Sarah says, I'm super excited, hoping this is like a fire renaissance resistance tattoo. Cool. Hitfacer says, where are your favorite places to get custom brushes from? Art Station and Gumroad. Miss Stalker says, joined late, so I missed the reference image. I was trying to guess as you went. My first thought was a crab man. That's fair. It's really what it turned out to be. It really turned out very, very ocean-like. Sarah says, who else is super excited to get the magic tattoos when we get Tasha's Cauldron comes out? That's been so cool. right. For once, this actually does have proper subdivision levels. I know, I'm so proud of myself. um, Usually I reconstruct them after the fact, which isn't a big deal, but it's kind of cool that I was able to work it into my workflow this time. All right, let's see if I can get a cool pose on this. Trying to think about what I want to pose it as, and I don't know. I'm thinking of having him like touching his chest with one arm far behind him, and he's looking over his shoulder. Because I want him to look kind of regal still, not too just like, I'm a big, sad, creepy monster and I'm sad about it. I want it to be like, I'm a big, sad, creepy monster and elegant about it. Like he kind of owns it. I don't know. It's just the vibe I'm going for. Hard to explain. Okay. I always love characters that are so like long like this. I really want to keep that. So a slight hunched over look. I'm always going to like that. So I'm just going to bend him. Oops. I did not have the horns unmasked. I'm glad I realized that. I do that a lot where I accidentally have something that I didn't mask perfectly and then I don't realize it until way too late. And it's really annoying to fix. I think the twist looks nice too. There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna have that leg pushed back. All right, I know the pose I want. Let's see if I can execute it. So yeah, I was thinking about having one hand touch his chest. It might look dumb. Haven't decided, so I'm just gonna like do this really quickly and see what I think. Because his fingers are so freaking long that it's making this more difficult. Yeah, no. It's fine, but I'd rather him reaching towards something. I need to move his fingers, which will take forever. But I will do that after, oops, I have the transpose master thing dealt with. This leg needs to be farther back. I think everything just needs to be exaggerated just a little bit more. Yeah, everything's just a little bit off. It pretty much never works when I try and pose all the fingers at once, but every now and then I can get away with it. So I've yet to learn my lesson. Come on. There we go. There we go. I just need to like roughly pose it just because this pose is actually kind of hard to see without the hands being somewhat put into position. I'm definitely going to resculpt this later, but as of right now, I just need to get it roughly looking like something so I can see what this is going to look like, or if it's really like the feel I'm going for. His hand is just so stinking big. Let's see. And then Uncle Sean recommended XMD Toolbox. I have not looked at that. Your description's really funny. And the face says, kind of looks like he should be holding a skull reciting Hamlet. A skull would be cool. I'm probably gonna scrap this whole arm. This whole arm, bleh. It got overworked. I think this looks much better and just way less complicated. I like that I tried, though. I do like the wide stance. Very not friendly looking, which is good. He's not supposed to be friendly. Sean says, it's a joke. And then Clute says, you sent me a picture. Let me go to Discord. Oh, that's really cool. I like your mini. It's a very fun pose. There's so much going on. That's awesome. I think I'm happy with this. I really don't want it to be too overcomplicated. When they don't have an object or something, it's like 1000% harder to pose for me. With all the detail, it looks especially nice because this wrinkled in a way I didn't expect it to. Looks good. his horn did get all fucked up. That's okay. It's just the horn. I can fix that. So yeah, that's because, as I mentioned before, like I will... if I mask something but I miss it just barely, that will happen. I can fix it though. That's so sweet, Clute. Oh, I love that. Alright. I guess I didn't have to do this because one of the horns was fine. So all I have to do, actually, is take this. Not with symmetry, my goodness. Like this, polygroup it. No, hide the other, delete, mirror and weld, or you know what? Instead, let's just duplicate mirror. There we go. And just put this back. There we go. I think that's where it was. There we go. The horns are definitely going to be really fragile, so I'm going to do my best to make them as thick as possible, or just reorient them. Might just bend this up just a little bit. All helps. Yeah, this came out really nice. I'm gonna do one last adjustment with the head. There we go. Nice. Just want him turning his head just a little bit more. Now I'm looking back at the picture you sent me. That's great. Alright, this pose took longer than that should have, considering how simple it was. However, sometimes simple is best. Yeah, this came out really beautiful. God, finally getting that navy coloring just right really went a long way. And just in case before anyone asks, like, oh, how'd you get that really cool red lighting effect? I have no fucking idea. I don't know where it comes from. I think it's awesome. it's like a glitch in ZBrush. Some of my models get that red tint on it when I render it. Sometimes they don't. I don't know what it's from. It might be somehow embedded in the matte cap that I use, which is, no, this is matte cap white. Never mind. I don't have any other lights on, just one. No idea where it comes from, but I think it looks really nice, so I'll take it. Alright guys, I think I'm gonna call this good for now. Yeah, we're about 2 hours, getting sleepy, and it's, wow, it's really dark in here now, the sunset. I didn't notice. Didn't realize how dark it was. Well, I'm still here. Alright. I'll probably live stream again tomorrow at 6 p.m. Thanks for joining and being awesome like always, and I'll see you then. Bye.